Okay.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So welcome. I wanted to say thank you for joining us. This is our second Table to Table iRescue Lunch and Learn. We're just so excited to be able to share information with you in some kind of different way. We've all kind of discovered this during the pandemic, and I hate that this is the norm now, but it is kind of a cool way to share information. Just so you know, we are recording this and we will post it to our Facebook volunteer page, and then we'll be using snippets of it for our other social media pages as well. First, let me start by introducing myself. I am Julie Kinner, the Vice President of Operations for Table to Table. I have actually been with Table to Table since the very beginning. I started off as a volunteer for several years, and then about 18 years ago, Eileen, who is our current executive director, approached me about a position, and I took it immediately because I loved the mission. I loved everything Table to Table stood for, and what a cool opportunity. So for a long time, it was just our founding president, Claire Enceladopoulos, our executive director, Eileen Isaacs, and myself. And then the drivers, of course. But so now when I look at our abundant staff and our incredible drivers, I'm just in awe of what we've done. I also have Arlette Delpino on today. Arlette is our app manager, and she'll also be helping us with some of the tech stuff today. So thank you, Arlette. So first, I think we always start off the lunch and learn with just a brief history on Table to Table. Most of our volunteers really know us through the app, so it's good just to give a little short history. Table to Table is a food rescue organization. We were founded in 1999. We had one refrigerated van. I remember taking that for a joyride when it was delivered. We had one driver and one donor, who was Whole Foods in Edgewater. And then we had one recipient partner, Good Shepherd Mission in Patterson. We still pick up from Whole Foods and we still deliver to Good Shepherd. We now have 6 refrigerated trucks and 7 drivers. We pick up from over 150 donors and deliver to over 200 partner agencies. We're in Bergen, Hudson, Essex, and Passaic. We do not accept government funding, believing that community helps community. And last year alone, we picked up and delivered over 25 million pounds of food that would have gone to waste. Since 1999, we have picked up over 96,000 tons of food, which I love comparing this. It's always like saying we have taken 15,707 gas-powered passenger cars driven on for 1 year off of the road, which is crazy to think about the amount of food that gets wasted and then what it can actually do to the environment. We started our app back in April of 21. It's called iRescue. And the app allowed us for the very first time to use volunteers to pick up from food donors that deliver it themselves to recipient partner agencies. We are now able to pick up from smaller donors and deliver to smaller partner agencies, allowing our trucks to concentrate on the larger palletized donations and larger partner distributions. The original rescue area was only in Bergen County. Pat has been with us since the very beginning, doing rescues for us. It's because of the success that Pat brought to us. We are now launched in Hudson, Essex, and Passaic as of May of this year. Since our original launch, volunteers have rescued over 500,000 pounds from our 80 plus donors and delivered to over 90 partner agencies. And we have so much more to do. So moving on, I want to introduce to you today Jenny Wells. She is going to speak to us a little bit about Families for Families. I to tell you my personal story with Families for Families. Before our Letty, we had Andrea who worked on the app. And Andrea came across Families for Families, started working with Kristen, and she introduced me to them. I was doing a rescue myself, and I was delivering. This is when we were delivering to Kristen's house and to a van in front of her house. And I just started talking to her, and her excitement and her passion is just, it just runs so deep. And I went on their website and signed up for information, and I started doing Christmas gifts and Easter baskets, and I started really having fun. You know, my kids are old, they're in college now, so they're not so fun to buy gifts for anymore. So being able to buy them for families with preschoolers and mothers who are in need, it was just a really cool, it was a gift to me to be able to do this. So Jenny oversees the food distribution for Families, and I'm going to let Jenny talk and take it away. We also have Carmine on here from the Food Brigade, who I know also works with Jenny. And so Jenny, I'll have you go ahead and take it away. Oh, are you frozen?
Okay, hi everybody. As Julie said, my name is Jenny Wells. I'm with Families for Families. And as Julie said, a little bit of background on Families for Families. It was started in about 2014 by Kristen Madley and her family. They had gone to a homeless shelter and they had wanted to see what they could do for people for Christmas. So they didn't, as a family, didn't adopt a family. And over the years, the shelters would turn to Kristen and say, can we get more people to adopt a family at Christmas time? And she was able to rope in the whole community of Wyckoff and Franklin Lakes and those towns around there, and everybody comes around. And that's how I found it. I had post on some website on Facebook on some group, and it was about doing Christmas baskets. So I was like, excellent, I'll adopt a family. And then a couple of months later, Kristen was looking for people to join the board. So I joined the board, and it was fantastic. We were collecting furniture. People were donating furniture. We were grabbing it. We were helping people move out of homeless shelters. And that's the primary mission of Families for Families, is helping families transition out of homeless shelters into their first apartment or into a new apartment. And we help them get a great start with furniture and housewares and things they need for the home. Because when you get an apartment, you're so excited, but what if you don't have anything? Like, you don't have anything to go in that apartment and you have some kids. It's all stressful from soup to nuts. So we try to help out a little bit in the middle. So I stayed on the board with them for a couple of years, but food's always been my passion, from baking or cooking to eating, everything. I love food altogether. I talk about it incessantly. And I left Families for Families because it was during the pandemic, and I was really worried about people who weren't getting enough food. Like, all those kids who were in school getting free breakfast, free lunch, and now they're home all day. Who's feeding them? I was really worried about that. So personally, I started to work with some families in Patterson on a regular basis to make sure they had food. And I was going through the process of starting my own 501c3 that I would have a food pantry. And it's a long process, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And I was working full time still, and it was rough. And about last year in November, Kristen came to me and she said, look, during the pandemic, we were feeding people. The Food Brigade was helping us with food for our clients. And they were buying some food from a food distributor. And she said, we think there's a time and a place now for a food pantry. Would you be willing to merge, my ideas? I was like, that sounds like a match made in heaven. So we got together and we started this food pantry, and we've come a long way. We have a long way to go, but we've come a long way. And one of the things that Families for Families does is, when the homeless shelter will hook people up with Families for Families, and we take them on as clients. And so far we have 60 clients that we help out on a regular basis. It's not just with furniture and homewares. We have client coaches, talk to them and help them through, basic everyday things that maybe they haven't had any exposure to or experience with. So for instance, we do have one client now. She's young and she has a couple of kids, and her car broke down and she didn't know what to do. And her client coach went to the mechanic with her, talked to the mechanic, what's wrong with the car, helped her get back to where she needed to get to work because she didn't have the car, went back with her to pay for the car, make sure everything was okay, helping her with food, teaching her how to budget. It's, there's a lot of aspects. A lot of these clients are young ladies with children, single, and, they just haven't had exposure to some of these experiences. So that's what we're trying to do. We're really trying to get them to a place where they are comfortable and confident and able to make these decisions without anybody's help. So that's one of the great things about Families for Families. There's many. So our food pantry, we deliver twice a month to our clients. We get food from table to table, which is fantastic. We used to do it 4 times a month, but now 4 Sundays a month, every single week. So the last 2 Sundays of the month, we deliver food to our clients in Patterson, Passaic, and Clifton. And starting on Fridays, Table to Table brings us food. On Fridays, they bring us Chick-fil-A. On Saturdays, we get Acme, and I think that's it on Saturdays. And then on Sundays, we get Acme in the morning, we get pizza around 11 o'clock, and we get a farmer's market delivery about 2:30 in the afternoon. And we create these bags for our clients. And some weeks, our clients, we might have 20 people we deliver to on a Sunday. It might be 25, it might be 15. It really depends on how many people sign up and how many volunteers we have to make deliveries. So, and sometimes we give them 3-4 bags full of stuff, full of great food that's been rescued. And I mean, the stuff we're getting at the farmer's market, it literally has just come out of the dirt. It's vegetables that still has everything. It's amazing. And it's exciting. So, that's what we're doing with Table to Table. And Families for Families, our food pantry is open to the public. So you don't need to be part of the program. It's open to the public 5 Saturdays from 9 to 11, and Sundays we're there from 10 to 1. So we have, we just opened that up, I want to say in April, and we have seen how big, like how quickly it has grown and how many people. I mean, some weekends in the beginning, we were nobody for a couple of weeks, and then maybe we were getting that. I think in 6 months, that's really great. We get a lot of repeats. The word is out, and we get people from a lot of different towns. Wyckoff, Midland Park, Franklin Lakes, everywhere, Hillsdale, Westwood, and Patterson. They come from everywhere. So we are very grateful to Table to help us help our families and our program. Get some good, nutritious food, things that are already made that they don't have to worry about too much. So that's where we stand right now. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Jenny. I am, a few notes that I wrote down. I love the idea of the client coach. I think that is just brilliant. The personal connection that they can have with them. I think a big part of how we look at our food is it is a catalyst to other programs. Years ago, I had a deacon in Newark say to me that we're not just feeding the stomach, but we're feeding the soul. And they saw an uptick of parishioners in their church because they were handing out meat on Sundays, and whether it's a bribe or not, it got people into a place that is a safe place, it's a comfortable place, and more can come out of it. And so I love the idea of the client coach. I think that's just, that's incredible.
Yeah, no, it's a great feature. I mean, we need more client coaches, and anybody can sign up. If you go to the Family of Families website and you want to help out in that way, we definitely need more client coaches. And Kristen, I mean, she's brilliant at what does and what she thinks of and how she puts it all together. And she facilitates that and she guides all the coaches, and it's not a huge time commitment. It's just maybe a couple phone calls a month and see how it progresses. Sometimes you talk more to your client, and sometimes
Oh, Jenny, you keep
they don't
cutting out.
need
I'm gonna
this
blame it on-
much, Oh, hmm.
I'll blame it on the weather. I know the weather outside is so bad, so I blame everything on the weather when it's like this. Another thing that I wrote down was,
Yeah, we have a spotty connection.
yeah. Another thing that I thought was great was the donation that you received from Ramsey Farmers Market. That market, I have to tell you how that came about. Nancy Boone, who I think everyone in Bergen County knows, she walks around with a fanny pack. Everybody just loves Nancy. She founded Ramsey Farmers Market, I don't know how long ago, but it is one of the biggest and most thriving farmers markets. I think, I know Pat's nodding her head. It is, if you haven't been to the Ramsey Farmers Market, it really is amazing. They have music every Sunday. It's an incredible, they have activities for kids. It really is a cool market. Well, Nancy actually reached out to us. I had worked on and off with Nancy years ago, and she reached out to us and said, I might have some I might have some vendors. And you have to remember, these vendors are small businesses. These are not Acme or Wegmans setting up a tent. This is a small, business, a mom and pop run business, whether they're making breads or chocolates or whatever they're making. And the vegetables that she refers to right out of the ground, she's not wrong. They are truly right out of the ground. They're from Nebo, which grows right in Mawa. So, I mean, I love picking up from Mevo because you get dirt in your car and you get dirt in your shoes. And I mean, you are on the farm when you're picking up from them, and they are ridiculously generous, and it really is cool. Jenny, do you have anything else to add? This is great. I love learning about Families for Families, and I know you guys just had a big ribbon cutting this past Sunday.
We did this past Sunday. We had a ribbon cutting in our grand opening, and we actually had a lot of people come through our open house to see what we're doing and how we're doing it, and it was fantastic. And we loved seeing everybody and giving tours of the facility. We're really happy, and hopefully we made some relationships out of that.
For sure. And I think you also have a trunk or treat coming up for Halloween for the kids. Did I just read that?
We do. There is a trunk or treat that's going to be in Patterson. I don't know the date off the top of my head. I think it's the 28th.
Mhm.
And it'll be in Patterson. And what they do is they get people to volunteer their time to, host their trunk as a place for the kids to trick or treat. They take over a street outside one of the homeless shelters, and we have costumes there for the Patterson kids to choose what they want to wear. They can trick or treat around each to the cars. People donate candy. Sometimes we have winter coats there, so parents can pick out some winter coats for their kids while they're there. It's a really great feel-good community activity. And I know if you go to the Families for Families website, there's a flyer on there that you can look at, and if you want to be a part of it, there's ways to do that as well. And we also have coming up is our Thanksgiving dinner. We actually have people adopt a family for Thanksgiving and donate an entire Thanksgiving dinner, everything from cranberry to stuffing and gravy and everything. And then we get it all over to the warehouse right before Patterson or Clifton or Passaic. And so they have a great meal on Thanksgiving. And then that rolls right into our Christmas Adopt a Family for Christmas presents.
That's incredible.
Which is another great thing. I think they're helping like 250 to 300 families.
It's incredible. And like I said, it's a feel good thing. Every day I work, I obviously work for a charity, and every day I feel good about what I do, but I love being able to reach out and help in a different way, and Families for Families has allowed me to do that. So thank you, Jenny, for joining us. Our Lady, did you have a question for Jenny? I saw you came off mute for a minute.
Yeah, Jenny, we've been going through so many fluctuations, right? In the past couple of years, we had the pandemic, now we have the high inflation. How have you seen, in the time that you've been with Families for Families in general, where do you see the need? How do you see that changing? Is it getting worse? Is it, what do you see, from the families you serve?
what we're seeing recently, and just from what they're telling me or telling Kristen, and she's sharing with the board. And I talked to Carmine this weekend. We were talking about how it appears that when there's an uptick in people needing food, like more and more people need, it's just the start of more issues that hit close to home. We are finding that a lot of the people, our clients in Patterson, during the pandemic, there was some sort of housing subsidy. They were able to get some money for housing, and that's going away. So we're seeing some of our clients saying, it's tough for me to afford my rent now. I'm short. It's the rent hasn't changed, but I'm not able to get, I'm not getting the subsidy. I can't fill that gap. So those are some of the things that we know they're dealing with. And that's tough. We don't want to see any of these people head back to the homeless shelter. So we have to figure out a way that we can help them. And that's some of the things that Families for Families is trying to do, is learn more things about the social service aspect that go in our counties, and find out, how do we counsel people, and not counsel as in like we're social workers or anything, because we're not. We're strictly volunteers who do this part-time. All of us work full-time jobs, and we do Family for Families at night, on the side, on the weekends. But maybe we can learn some more about how to guide them, where to go to look for SNAP benefits, or where to go to find more services that the county or the town could be helping them with. So we're trying to get up to speed on that.
It's so interesting, and I think SNAP is another good way of looking at that as well, where there was extra money in the SNAP dollars during the pandemic. I mean, some seniors were getting an extra $200 plus monthly in their SNAP benefits, and now all of those benefits have gone away. And now with the increase of grocery prices, it's like the perfect storm, in a sense, because now there's less money, and everything's more expensive. So
it is. And as I was saying before, like some of our clients, they're all great, and their kids, but some of them don't often understand how to budget. So they might get their SNAP benefits on the first day of the month, and they run out and buy all their groceries. And then 2 weeks later, all the groceries are gone because their kids ate it, which anybody's kids would. If you have a ton of food in the house, everyone's going to eat all the time. So, teaching them that maybe just buying groceries once a week and trying to budget that money for the whole month, it's just not a topic, that they're familiar with at this point. So that's something we're trying to go through with them as well, and how to keep them, from feeling that stress of running out of SNAP benefits before the end of the month. Like, how to take the pressure off, and how to do that, how to look for coupons, and maybe look at what they're buying. And sometimes we have these, and they're spending, $80 a week on Lunchables.
yeah.
So it's kind of, it's a little different, a different thought process,
Yeah, that's interesting. It is interesting. We could all use that, those lessons, though, couldn't we? I know I could. So that's great, Jenny. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions or anything? Jenny, thank you so much for your information. And I'll for sure be adopting a family this Christmas, and
great.
See if my my kids what they need from me this fall, and then see if I can do Thanksgiving too. But and I might even do trunk or treat. Maybe Dawn will join me with the trunk or treat, because she's good like that. No pressure, no pressure. So thank you, Jenny. I just have two other things that I'd like to share with everyone. First of all is our table to table volunteer Facebook page. I think most of you know it, but I think it's good to have it on for anyone that is seeing this another time. We have this incredible, it's a private page. You have to request to be able to follow it, to get it in. And it does have messages that we send out specifically about the app and about volunteers. And there has been some times that we actually reached out when our office needed something. So we reached out and to say, hey, we're stickering bags today. Can anybody come in? Carmine has used it to ask for volunteers to do for his work. So I think that this is, it's just such a great resource. We have 85 people following it right now, which I think is great because we really have just started pushing this within the last few months. But I think it's just a fun, it's a fun side, way to communicate. We talked about how Zoom is the way to communicate. This is another fun way to communicate. And then my last thing, I wanted to introduce everyone to a new program that we are starting with the iRescue app, and it's called iRescue Lunch. We know after myself having kids in school and just working with the schools in general, that students tend to not eat everything in their lunch. Cheese sticks, closed milk, apples, oranges, these types of things do get thrown away at the end of their lunchtime. And now we are in the middle of approaching schools and asking them to work with us and become an iRescue Lunch participant. We are looking for student ambassadors to take on this program, middle school, high school students. They'll serve as leaders, they'll raise awareness within their school, they'll support us. And then obviously this would look really good on their applications, but something kind of cool to do. I think this is an exciting program for us. This is a new way to teach kids about waste, to teach kids about hunger. But it's also a way for us to get this, uncut fruit, sealed bags of sliced fruit, prepackaged perishable, non-perishable foods, unopened containers of milk. We'll have our purple crates within the schools. The kids can put their donations in the crate at the end of lunch. And then we'll have a volunteer go to the schools, pick up, and then we'll bring it to places like Families for Families, or bring it to our seniors in Ridgewood, or bring it to Carmine and Karen over at Food Brigade, or bring it to Dawn at the We Project. This really could be something really cool. So it's our new project. It's something that we're really introducing and pushing for in October. So I hope that if you guys have any questions with it, please reach out to me. If you have any connections or any ideas of people that would want to get involved with it, again, reach out to me and I am happy to work with them. I think that is it for today. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything that we can help you with? You've got our Letty and I, you've got our attention, so we're good. Oh, yes, Donna.
Julie?
Yes.
I, of course, have something. So I was very impressed with that presentation just now. Jenny, my name is Dawn. I vet for a angel investor, and they're always looking for grassroots. You know where I'm going, right, Jules?
I do. Jenny, listen up.
Okay. So like my heart has been touched today again. Please send Julie a copy of your 501c3. Julie, email it to me because I feel like Oprah, you are getting a check. I just don't know how much, and it's going to be pretty though. But I am really impressed
so
by
much.
your organization. Oh, no worries. Just get her that 501c3 because I have a board meeting next week.
Yeah, Dawn.
We'll have it in an hour. Yep. Thank you.
Cool.
Families for Families is a great organization. I can't tell you how many people it helps and how many people want to help us. And that only shows how well Kristen and her family have really brought this from the ground up. It's amazing. It really is. I'm going to cry. It's really.
For sure. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn is also her.
See, my nose is getting all red. I'm getting misty.
That's good. good. Dawn's angel supporter also has supported Table to Table in the past. And Dawn actually runs an incredible food distribution in Jersey City. She inherited it from the city of Jersey City, and yeah. And but gosh, Dawn, how many years have we been doing this? We've been together a long time, right?
Yeah, a lot of years, and they give me all of the orphans that they can no longer handle.
They do.
Yeah, I'm the chosen one.
That's true. That is true. That just means that you can handle it. You know, God only gives you what you can handle. That's all.
Well, that is why I call you
That's
all the
true.
time.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. We will get this posted on the Facebook page. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Arlette, thank you, as always, for everything you do. And Pat, just love seeing your face. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy.
Promote the wine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Promote.
Sorry. Oh, Dawn, you're so good. On Saturday night, there is a fundraiser for Table to Table at the Demarest train station. It's called Pour for a Purpose. And there's like 25 different wines. There's a bunch of different groups. It is on our Facebook page. It's also on our website, tabletotable.org. It's $100, and all $100 comes to Table to Table, which is incredible. The wines have been donated, and the food, there is bites, small bites of food, and that's been donated as well. There's also a silent auction. So Dawn and I will be there. And we'll be there and sampling the wines. I may have to Uber, but we will be there. And I think it's going to be a really nice night. I think it's going to be really fun and something to kind of cut loose a little bit. It'll be nice not to work at an event, that I can actually enjoy the event. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dawn, for everything. And we'll see you next month. Have a great month, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.